Good morning, boys, and welcome to a new month. It's Monday, May 3rd. We have a new prayer, we have a new letter, we have a new color. It's going to be so much fun in the month of May. So let's start our day with our new prayer, and I'll say it and then we'll say it together, okay? Thank you for my mommy, and I just want to say how much I love her on this Mother's Day. Amen. So let's start with, Dear God, thank you for my mommy, and I just want to say how much I love her on this Mother's Day. Amen. All right, welcome everyone. Now we're here, we'll have some fun. First we'll stretch, touch our toes, clap our hands, and then who knows? Welcome everyone. Now we're here, we'll have some fun. Very good. All right, so in May, we have a couple new poems and a couple new songs, and one of my favorite songs. We do it in May, especially because there's so many yummy smells with flowers and the fruits and vegetables, but it's our smelling song. So I'm smelling, my nose is busy smelling. This is a song I like to sing when I smell most anything. And then we can think of all the wonderful things we like to smell. In May, there's usually a carnival. I know at Osage School, where your brothers are, there's a May carnival, maybe not this year, but so I always think of cotton candy smells or popcorn at carnivals. And then I think of, in May, we like to go to the beach. So I think of the yummy smells of the boardwalk. And then we can think of the beautiful flowers and how yummy they smell. And how about the vegetables and the fruits? We can smell that yummy watermelon, the corn on the cob. There's so many things that are happening starting in May, moving toward the summer. So think of some yummy things that you like to smell. Also, we're going to talk about how that little caterpillar is going to turn into a beautiful butterfly. So one of the songs we have is called Flutter, Flutter, Butterfly. So get ready. Flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the morning sky, floating by for all to see, floating by so merrily. Flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the morning sky. And you can also say summer sky, excuse me, when it gets to be summer, but we're still in spring, so we're going to say morning. Mommy, you're so nice. I just want you to know that you're my special mommy, and I love you so. Remember, May is all about mommy, and June is all about daddy. So we need to make sure mommy and daddy know every day how much we love them. I'll send home copies of those poems and songs too, and there's more to learn. All right, so jumping into our, our new month, we have a new letter, O. And let me get my uppercase or capital O and my lowercase o. Now, there's somebody that's watching this right now whose name begins with O. And it's going to be a capital O because it's the beginning of your name, Oliver. So we know that Oliver begins with O. Olivia begins with O. But if your name is Anthony, then you have the lowercase o in your name. Just like Tony, or I'm trying to think of anybody else that has an O in their name in our class. I'm looking at our students right now, and Santino. Santino's name ends with an O. It's the lowercase o. Oliver's name begins with the uppercase O because it's the beginning of his name. Okay, so things that begin with O. My friend the otter begins with O. And an ostrich begins with O. An octopus begins with O. Yummy oatmeal begins with O. And an orange begins with O. Can you think of anything else that begins with O? O is for the orange shaped like a ball. O is for the ostrich that stands very tall. Osage School begins with O. That's the school that you're going to go to next year with your big brothers. And by the way, it's my favorite school, besides Tender Hearts. All right, so today we are going to do a listening activity. And a listening activity is Mingo sees 3 insects. Mingo sees 3 insects. Then we're going to do our cherry blossom craft, because today is all about Mayflowers. And even though the cherry blossoms really come out more in the earlier spring, they're still out now. And I have a weeping cherry tree in my backyard, and it's blooming right now. So, and then we're gonna read about Grow, Flower, Grow. And this is a funny book, and you're gonna see why it's funny when I read it, because she makes some silly decisions about her plants. So let's put our thinking caps on and let's do our listening activity first. So I wiggle my fingers, I wiggle my toes, I wiggle my shoulders, I wiggle my nose. Now all the wiggles are out of me, and I'm as still can be, because we need to put our thinking caps on, we need to tie them tight, and we need to really concentrate to do our best work on this activity. So first we're going to take, and I wanted to tell you that our shape and our color, we really don't have a shape for the month of May or June. We kind of do reviews. We are going to touch on diamonds, so we'll learn a little bit about that, and maybe some harder shapes. For colors, we're going to kind of play with colors. We're going to talk about the color white and the color black, and how if we mix them, we can make a light gray, a dark gray. So we're going to touch on that a little. So I guess you could say our colors for May are white, black, and gray, but we really don't have any shapes. But we are gonna, as I said, we're gonna learn about the diamond. All right, so our listening activity, let's put our name on the top. All right, put our name on the top. Now, as before, I'm going to read about Mingo and these 3 insects. I'm gonna read 2 times, not 3, 2 times. 3 insects 2 times. And then I'm going to ask you the 4 questions. Then we will do the bonus question on the bottom. Now, normally I say you guys can work together and help each other out. I would prefer that you not. Just do your best work alone. And yeah, here we go. Are you ready? Okay, Mingo sees 3 insects. Mingo is at summer camp. He is working on a puzzle. Mingo sees a butterfly nearby. Then Mingo sees a ladybug crawling. His friend Allie says, "Look, I see a dragonfly." "I see it too," shouts Mingo. All right, so let's try it one more time. Mingo is at summer camp. He is working on a puzzle. Mingo sees a butterfly nearby. Then Mingo sees a ladybug crawling. His friend Allie says, "Look, I see a dragonfly." "I see it too," shouts Mingo. All right, boys, so let's point to our number 1. So here's our number 1. And the question for number 1 is, what is Mingo working on? Is he working on a picture of a boat and the sun? Is he playing with a ball? Or is he working on a puzzle? What is Mingo working on? Is he drawing a picture of a boat and the sun? Is he playing with a ball? Or is he putting together a puzzle? So you're going to circle the answer that you think best fits the story that we just read. All right, so we're going to move down to number 2. And number 2 says, what does Mingo see first? So in the story that I read you, what does Mingo see first? Does he see a frog, a butterfly, or a cherry? What does Mingo see first? A frog, a butterfly, or a cherry? All right, so number 3. What does Mingo see crawling? Does he see an ant, a ladybug, or a snake? What does Mingo see crawling? An ant, a ladybug, or a snake? All right, and now we're going to move on to number 4. Which insect does Mingo's friend see? Which insect does Mingo's friend see? A bumblebee, a fly, or a dragonfly? Which insect does Mingo's friend see? A bumblebee, a fly, or a dragonfly? Now, we're going to move on to the bonus question. And the bonus question is asking, how many pictures of insects are on this page? So the whole page, how many insects do you see? The whole page. And I'm going to give you a hint on that, because it's a bonus question. This insect is included in the count. So look, you start with that insect and then go to each of your questions and count how many insects are on the whole page. And then you're going to circle that number on the bottom. All right. And then you're going to hand that to your grown-up and return that to Miss Sheila, because I would love to see all your awesome work. Okay. All right, boys, so we're going to put that aside. All done. That was a lot of brain work, right? All right, so now something fun. Grow, flower, grow. Look at, isn't this fun? Bumblebees and flowers. All right, so grow, flower, grow. And this is written by Lisa Bruce. One day, Fran found a flower pot and she filled it with soil. Poking out the top was a tiny green tip. I'm going to grow this flower, Fran said to Fred, her dog. Oh, and there's Fred. She took it home and she said, grow, flower. Grow, flower. But the tips still stayed tiny and nothing happened. I think the flower's hungry, said Fran. So then Fran went to the fridge and inside she found some of her favorite foods. She gave the flower a slice of pizza. And the next day, she gave the flower a piece of cheeseburger. Then she gave it spaghetti, 2 chocolate chip cookies, and a large spoonful of strawberry ice cream. What do you think is going to happen? She even gave it Fred's juicy bone. I don't think Fred was very happy with that. But the flower didn't grow. The tip stayed tiny And Fran got fed up. So she said, "You silly flower." And Fran threw that flower out the back door. She said, "I've had enough." And she just threw it out the back door. The flower pot fell onto the ground and it rolled away, and the rain fell on it. And the wind blew on it. And the sun shone on it. Finally, that tiny green tip grew. And it grew. And it grew. Until one day, Fran and Fred went outside to play. When they opened the door, a surprise was waiting for them. It was a beautiful flower just for Fran. Look how beautiful this flower is, boys. The end. So why do you think that when she threw it outside and it was rained on, the wind blew it, and the sun was shining on it, why do you think the flower decided to grow and not grow when she gave it spaghetti, chocolate chip cookies, strawberry ice cream, and spaghetti? Because we know that living things need water, they need air and sun, they need food. And for a plant, food is their soil, is the nutrients in their soil, all the vitamins in their soil. So that plant wasn't going to eat a slice of pizza. It wanted rainwater, it wanted the sun, it wanted the wind. And she, in the beginning of the story, said Fran filled it with soil, so the soil was its food. Silly Fran. Now she'll know for the next time when she has a plant that you can't give plants pizza and have it grow. Plus, I think it was probably a little smelly. All that garbage on top of the plant. Silly, right? Okay, so cherry blossoms. Let's move on to our cherry blossoms. I gave you quite a few Q-tips because in this month, we're going to do our cherry blossoms now, but we're also going to make dandelions, the seeds. Remember, we learned about the dandelion has the pretty yellow flower, and then when it turns to seed, it has that puff, and when you blow it, then all those seeds go everywhere. And Daddy is so happy because there's dandelion seeds all over the beautiful lawn. But that's another story. Okay, so I have a color here. It's kind of fuchsia. It's a darker, I would think they called it magenta, but it's a darker pink. But if you wanted to, I gave you this color, but I also gave you white. So if you wanted to add a little white to it, you could, and it would make it a lighter pink. And I'll show you, because I did one of these before, and I did it with a lighter pink. So I'll show you that. Okay, so there's the lighter pink. So we need our Q-tip, we need our paint, and we also need our red, our green. I'm looking at my red marker and I needed my green marker. Your green marker or your crayon, because before you start painting, you can color in the stems. Or if this was a real cherry tree, it's actually brown you would need. Because a tree, the branches from the tree are brown. So you should probably start with brown here, and then the leaves on the tree are green. So you could do either. If you want to make your branches green, you can. If you want to make your branches brown, I'm just going to do mine both so you see. All right, so this is the first step that we're going to do. We're going to decide whether we want brown or green and then fill our leaves in. And then we're going to take our Q-tip and we're going to stick it in our paint. So it's just on the tip. And then it's kind of like a dot, dot, dot. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to do a couple and then I'll show you what it looks like. Now, painting this way is going to take patience. So it's something we're not going to rush. It's not a race. But if you take your time and you do it nicely, it really looks super cool, guys. And I'll show you. All right, all I'm using is the tip of the Q-tip. I'm just making little circles with the tip of the Q-tip. And then when it gets lighter, then you just stick your Q-tip back in the paint. And then you keep going, repeating that until your entire blossom is full. You know, when I'm doing this, I'm starting to smell, even with my allergies, I'm starting to smell how yummy those pretty flowers on our trees smell. My favorite smell is a honeysuckle. And pretty soon we'll be smelling that too. We have one in our backyard, and well, it's in our neighbor's backyard, but when the wind blows, I can smell that sweet smell. It's so nice. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. And you're just gonna take your time using your Q-tip. I know I gave you several Q-tips in there, so if one kind of wears out, you can use another one. So you can, like I said, you can either do, now this one was done with a fingerprint. We used our finger on this one this year. So, but that's the color I wanted to show you if you wanted to add white to your magenta. And then this is the one, the color that I gave you this year. Up to you. All right, boys. Well, that's our first day of May. I think we did pretty well. So proud of you, taking your time, doing your best work. Enjoy this nice weather that we're starting to get. And I'll see you tomorrow for May 4th. Bye-bye.